Warriors, Season 1, Episode 4.
The White Mountain, which is a really interesting title for this because it is a literal thing in this episode, but it absolutely is, as you've described it.
Analogy for the world.
Absolutely.
Whitestream,
The
you
white
said.
stream. What are your points from this particular episode?
We see a lot of backstory for some of the characters, especially Bill. So
Yeah.
this is a setup for one of the future episodes, I think, we've watched, for Bill's vice, right? His gambling problem.
Gosh, Bill, you know what? This guy, what have we both said? That he is what is wrong with this world. So
Yes.
Bill to me is the best worst character because he's a cop and he's Irish, he's racist, he's got vices galore, and yet we feel for this guy, right? Because he's not actually bad, he's just weak. And we've said this before in the previous things, but seriously in this one you get to see just how weak this dick is.
Yeah.
And you know that he could be better.
He's a good guy. And
Yes.
He's a good guy. It's
But
just,
how can we say this? What makes someone good? Why are we making excuses for this dickhead? Why do we then say, but look, he's good, really?
and this is what the problem with the world is.
Yes.
So people have the opportunity to do the right thing, but they choose the wrong thing because it's easier, and
Yeah.
that's just the way it is.
Oh my gosh.
You know? Get with the program.
Yes, absolutely. Get literally with the program. So now we'll see, Bill's vices and how the house always wins.
Right, so his gambling problem. He loses money at the Shanghai casino.
Yes.
And he's got 3 weeks to pay, right? So
But also going back to how just the general way the world is, right? The white stream. So Bill's in this Chinese gambling den, in the one of the Tongs gambling den, and yet deriding them. He's the one who owes money to them in there, but he's actually still racist in there. And then says to his other Irish guy who used to be a cop, "Oh, you're working for them." And there's a lot of racist words and slurs, etc., that we won't repeat, but it's necessary. It's a heavily fictionalized show, but it is absolutely, that this
It has
is what
to be
had
true.
happened. Well, if it's true all over the world, like certainly from Fiji, we know what happened to the Indo-Fijians when they were Indians, when they newly arrived in Fiji. My gosh, the torture they went through. Let's not even start on what the black people had to go through. And world over, every single country. Anyway, back to Bill. So what do we know here? Oh, can I just read, because we haven't talked about the theme song, the theme music. The warrior theme. What a theme.
I know.
It's, a Chinese version of a Western
I know,
song.
it's brilliant.
It is so good.
brilliant.
And the soundtrack is next level.
Yeah.
It's killer. You and I are both obsessed with it on
I
Spotify.
can't stop listening.
It's really good. So we didn't say that Ah Sahm is back with the Hopway.
Yes.
And he's still smarting from his re-entry and at the hands of Father June.
Welcome back party.
Welcome back party. But one of our favorite characters, one of your I think your main favorite character, Young Jun.
Oh, yes.
You can
Yes.
see where he's.
Yes.
Now that we're watching it again and really looking at it, we're seeing how they set up the stories for future episodes. We're seeing it all, and not in obvious ways. They're really subtle ways. Mai Ling just having a subtle eye gesture or something,
So,
really.
and Young Jun is set up very well here. He's just looking for trust. You find out he's got this shitty past that he's gone through and everything. And all he's looking for is,
A friend,
Yeah.
someone to have his back,
Yeah,
and someone he
that's
wants,
right.
someone he can be. Because I understand that. Don't we all just want that one person who has our back 1,000%, and we're there for that person too?
Yeah.
How safe and wonderful that feels. So I really like Young Jun's character. For someone who is so insane, really, he's a very good guy.
Yeah,
So we made notes this time because we're being really,
Yeah.
because otherwise we tend to go off into different directions with this. Let's go into the white stream world. Of course, we see the worst of them all. So the mayor, Samuel Blake, right?
Yeah.
Where do we find him? We find him in our toys place.
Yeah, right. So the brothel. So we find him, and Buckley gets him out because Buckley organizes a raid because he wants chaos.
Yeah, he wants war.
San Francisco.
But this is the white stream. Buckley, he's got his motives and stuff, and he just wants wealth and power, etc. But not necessarily so he has the idiot as the mayor. It's always the second in charge. It's always the unseen people who have the most power. It's not Trump who's got the power. It's the puppets behind him, kind of thing. But oh wow, Buckley is just awful.
So he organizes the raid, and goes to the mayor's office. The mayor is not there, and then he knows exactly where the mayor is.
Ugh.
Yeah.
And that's quite a horrible. That's
Yeah.
quite a well. It's not horrible, but it's humiliating
Yeah.
for the mayor. It's supposed to be. So this guy,
And
is
especially
just-
at that time.
At the, yes, especially at that time. So yeah, absolutely. But otherwise, and so to counter it, to counter how disgusting Samuel Blake, the mayor, is, Samuel Blake's wife, Penny Blake, is just. She's an angel. She's angelic. As I have described her before, she is the white woman white women want to be. So of course, when they showcase her, now because we now know that Ah Sahm and Penny have got chemistry, and it's just chemistry tangible.
Right.
But now we also know, so Jacob, Penny's valet, comes to get very subtle ways, etc. And it's a nice interaction in that scene because Young Jun with Ah Sahm, we barely notice that the valet has walked, but it's all nice harmony because it's all about trust and such loaded. Each scene is loaded. The valet's not happy about this, Onion and his duck mistress looking back at it, and it's like, wow, okay, this is not a one-watch show. This is a show that you will keep watching for the rest of your life. But Penny, I have to say, the way Penny's studio, which is just, in her father's building, Penny's studio is an Instagram influencer's dream. It's Instagram worthy, everything about it. And of course, she's just this perfect, naive, wide-eyed ingenue. She's just like, oh, how could this bad things happen to you? And yes, she sacrificed herself. For we talked about that. So that's that white feminism being the patriarchal capitalist tool instead of being what woman's,
Yeah, so you said that's the capital sacrifice.
Yeah, the capitalist
Because she
sacrifice.
says she married
The mayor.
to save the father's
To save
business.
Right. So it's not like to stop them from starving.
Yeah.
They were rich.
Yeah.
So to stop them from financial ruin. So this is capitalist sacrifice. And this scene also just arranged marriages aren't just an Indian thing. The white stream has always married to make bonds stronger and keep the fortune within that 1% of the 1%. They've done it the entire
They're
time.
doing it.
And yeah, absolutely. I have to actually say one thing about the sex scene in this. Come on, guys. Let's not be Hollywood about this. No one just climbs on top and all of a sudden there's no belts to unbuckle and, a few movements and everyone's coming. Give me a break. That was the one thing I did not like. So I have to check the director on this one because this was someone who does not actually understand how, especially with all the clothes Penny's wearing.
Right.
There's no way under her that she's not wearing pantaloons and God knows all sorts of things. So, no. Anyway, moving on from that. And so here we see a new character. My favorite, my crush from 21 Jump Street all those years ago, Dustin Nguyen.
Right.
He plays a very interesting character in this. And it's like, my gosh, I don't have a crush on you anymore, but it's a good character. This is where we see what Mei Ling is prepared to do. She preempts, she doesn't care, she doesn't give the benefit of the doubt. Mei Ling is actually a major villain. But because she is a woman, I see things I understand why she chose that path, which is not a path I would personally choose. But after what she was subjected to and everything she had to go through, she wanted power. She wants power. But there's still heart to her, how she is with her old man husband, who is the leader of the Tong. And he trusts her that much. He's given her the power. And Sub-Zero is her lover. And he's a good man as much as a Tong side, second in command can be. So it's all these noble characters, but it's all just really violent. But Mei Ling, I can't quite see her as a villain because she comes from never wanting to not have power again, and that's only something a woman understands. Why I say just a woman and not including trans women into this, I'm saying just women, because it's something about our wombs. Something about being built with a womb that carries life and then being treated so disrespectfully by the life we bring into this world. It's like, what? So we never want to, when we get some power of some sort, we never want to let it go. Some people, unfortunately, get corrupted by that power. Not all power is bad. So, like our toy.
So same story as Mei Ling, but different path.
Yes, different paths. Our toy chose, still pretty out there, but on a different thing and what she wants to do with her power. Whereas Mei Ling just wants control. She wants power. She wants She wants all of it. There are people who want to rule by being the only one instead of understanding they can be one. Anyway,
There was another scene from the beginning when Lee,
oh,
another setup for
yes,
Lee's future story. So
yes.
scene starts in his apartment.
I
And,
love Lee.
yeah, he's great.
Yeah,
Um,
but of course, he's great because he's a fantasy. In a white man, unfortunately, that's not true. Look, I know elements of Lee types. You know, we should say at this stage we are not. You know, besides we're brown, we can't be racist towards white people, and we're not bigoted because we have white friends. I had white family. I love white people, truly. Individuals, as far as individuals go, I have some really amazing people in my life who are white, and but I don't like people for their race, so that's a different thing. Anyway, I digressed. I love Lee,
yeah.
but he is a fantasy. Everything about him because he is the superhero. He is the Bruce Wayne Batman type guy. Okay, so yeah, what were you saying? What were you going to say about Lee? I know you love Lee as well. The
Oh yeah,
character,
he's a great character. So this scene was set up. So it starts in his apartment, and RC shots in
Yeah.
his apartment, his uniform, blah blah blah, and then Lee's in bed. So he's having a dream, and then he wakes up from it, and then someone's sleeping next to him, but then they're not. So
Right.
it was in his imagination. So
Right.
the person had dark skin.
Right.
So this is something in Lee's consciousness.
Right, and now we're thinking that leaves us thinking. So what does this mean?
Yeah.
What is this? Has Lee done something bad that
Yeah.
he's atoning for?
Sure.
And is it like we're automatically thinking all sorts of bad things? So now, okay, is Lee as good as he is making out, or is he like that character? I've talked to you about this movie Summersby with Richard Gere
Yes.
and Jodie Foster. Really interesting premise, and I quite enjoyed the story. But it shows how even bad men are noble, but there are some truly evil men who are not, and but who come across as being the noble guy. So say Hitler telling his people he was just saving them and avenging God, etc. But he was evil. And then you have people who are bad, have done bad things because they've lived life. So they're not bad. They've just done stuff,
Just because of life.
Yeah, and then they're actually noble. So there's lots of people like that. So that's why we were talking about Bill. Like, come on, Bill, just pull your fucking socks together. Your moral thread together. But that was interesting, that scene. Yeah.
So that was just like, okay, what just happened there? So it was just a quick scene. So it's a setup for Lee's story, I think.
But because throughout it, Lee is just great, and also this is where we get that infamous photograph of the Chinatown squad. There's this photograph, so a historical photo, and I think they were set up around 1880, late 1880s, something like that. I do know a little bit of the history, and I am doing a deep dive to show you, because this is a really good track into where the police came from worldwide. So, but the Chinatown Squad and what they were made for, etc. So this was a really nice little, ping to history. But Lee is just so noble, and he's questioning everything, and he's not trying. There's nothing trying about Lee. He is a good man. Because he is so good, how dare Bill talk to Lee the way he does, but because he knows he can, because Lee is 100% solid, dependable, so that even assholes can know that this guy's got their back. But Bill keeps saying to him, stop being so judgmental, stop being so this, stop being so that, because Bill is getting really frustrated with the fact that Lee doesn't shut up. And he will say to someone, well, I don't think that's right. Well, this Chinaman can't go home because you're doing this to him, and according to Chinese law.
So Lee sees Bill getting bribed by Ah Toy, and then instantly starts giving him shit about it.
Yeah.
And then he asks him, what about right and wrong? And Bill's like, oh, this is not the place for it.
This is where they always like to say, listen, son, if you've lived through what I'm just like, give it up. Fuck off. A lot of us have lived through things. It's just, Bill, man, he frustrates me. I hadn't placed that, but you've pinpointed that. This episode is all, you know what it is? It's the stirrup, getting into the saddle. Right. So it is that stirrup episode where, okay, the foot's there. This is why you're getting a lot of understanding of the strategies and ploys and interactions and relationships.
Well, I think Mylene was the key person in this episode.
Absolutely, which is why you're drawing her.
She's setting up a lot of things here, and she even tried to get Ah Sahm out. Yeah,
Yes.
so that shows another caring part of her.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I'm saying. I can't quite see her as a villain because she does still. It's not a case of whereas the men who are doing this, who still show heart, they show it for their collective family. They show it for the bigger picture with no, but Mei Ling shows her individual humanity, where this is okay. By now, hopefully, people have watched episodes. It's HBO Max, and in Australia, it's Binge to understand, to know the relationship between Ah Sahm and Mei Ling, and to still have that individual. Like, I want to protect you. Go. I keep doing it. You keep forcing me to protect you, and but Ah Sam's not giving up this time because he's like, I
he's
can't.
got guilt too.
He's got guilt.
For
Oh, it's such it's very wonderfully weaved, very wonderfully tangled. This is a wonderfully woven web.
Yeah.
Everything of intrigue and betrayal and love and fun and compassion and kindness, and how they're all just so brutal, and yet all of them have suffered so much. And again, very a bit more of a muted tone, but
I think just because of the setup of
yes.
characters.
But an interesting thing is when Ah Sahm is walking back into Chinatown, immediately the red lanterns and the fire depict all that. So I really enjoy the way all these little scene enhancers or mood or storytelling props are used to really move the story along. I really love that. But oh my gosh, I do love all the music and just the direction. Yes, the direction was pretty good for it, except for the sex scene. But I guess we can live. Yeah, I'm looking forward to our favorite episode is the next one. That's a pretty good one. And now just going by, this is your first female character you have drawn. I know usually, but we deliberately went with Ah Sahm, of course. The first one, you were really drawn to Ah Sahm. Haha, no pun intended. Well, actually, pun intended. But the women, as we keep saying, they deserve an entire, episode. Sorry about the thumping. I keep thumping in enthusiasm. But I guess that's all we need to say. Enjoy this illustration of Mei Ling. Thank you for listening. And we've got episode 4 done and episode 5 coming your way soon. Right?
Thank you.
All right. Bye.